Hello, my children. I am Yukiko, and I am today going to tell you the story of a great goddess, Amaterasu, Oomikami. That's Amaterasu, shining upon all of the skies, Oomikami, the great goddess. She's from my land of Japan. So come with me on a journey. Are you ready? Okay, so here we go. Once upon a time, not so long ago, there was the beautiful goddess Amaterasu Oomikami, the great sun goddess. She shone upon everything, making everything grow, everything alive, everything beautiful. She lived in the heavens with all of her maiden goddesses. And they worked very hard every day, weaving the cloth that would become the fabric of the entire universe, the entire world. But then she had a very, very, very naughty little brother. And he would create a lot of havoc. He loved to party. He would get all drunk and go and bother things and break things up. And he was the god of lightning. So you can imagine the kind of destruction he would wreak. And so she had had enough of this. And so she called her brother up to the sky, into the heavens, into her domain, and she said, "Brother, you must cool down. Get off of alcohol, drink some more water, eat some good food, and be calm and quiet. You know, play with the beautiful things. But you must never, ever disturb my maiden goddesses in their weaving. It's sacred work. You can play somewhere else." So of course, what does he do? He climbs up onto the heavenly roof of the great weaving cottage. And he thought he would just take a peek. They were very pretty girls, these girls, the maiden goddesses. And so he took one of the roof tiles off and he peeks in and went, boo! And all the maiden goddesses went, ah! Screaming and running away. And that day, the fabric of the universe did not get woven. And that was a big problem. So Amaterasu Oomikami, the sun goddess, had had enough. Enough. And she said, "Damn all this." And she huffed and she puffed and walked away and shut herself up in her very private cave. And she had a very nice private cave because she was the sun goddess. And she drew this enormous, enormous stone across the mouth of the cave, shutting herself in and saying, "Good riddance" to the noisy world and to her very naughty brother. Well, this was very bad news to the world, because no sun, nothing grew. Everything became a wasteland. So this was a very big problem. Now the gods relied on the humans to make offerings of their fruit and vegetables and grains. It was their offering that made them feel good and made them alive. They had to be thought of and remembered and prayed to in order for them to exist. And so the gods became alarmed, because with no food, no humans were making any offerings anymore. They were forgetting the gods. So all the gods and goddesses got together, and they spoke and they talked, and they finally came up with a plan how to get the goddess Amaterasu Oomikami out of her cave. And they thought, well, she loves a very good party. Let's have a really big party, and let's have song and dance, and let's get everybody together, and we'll make so much merry noise that she's just going to have to pop out and join us. Well, so they all got together from all the four corners of the earth, from all the four corners of the heavens, and from all the four corners of the underworld. And they all came together. And it was a beautiful and awesome and fearsome group of all the gods and goddesses, from really teeny weeny gods to huge, enormous gods of mountains and rivers and lakes. And they built an enormous bonfire. And they started to party. And they sang and they danced. Hey, ooh, yeah. And they drank and they spoke and they ate really good pizza and really good cake and really good cookies and lots of hot chocolate. And they were just so happy. They were laughing. And Amaterasu Oomikami, inside her cave where she was sulking, started to think, well, what's going on here? How can they be so happy without me? Well, and then she thought, I don't really care. I'm going to just play with my PlayStation. Whatever, I don't care. Well. And outside the party was going. Hey-ya, hella-ya, ho-ho-ya, hella-ya. And there were ladies dancing and singing. It was a lot of noise. And right outside the cave, this enormous rock that nobody could move really, they just couldn't get a hold on it, was the strongest god of all of the gods, who was right outside there, ready to rip the door open the moment the goddess inside would crack it just a teeny bit so he could get his fingers in there. And also right outside was the great goddess of dance and of poetry and of all the girls and women. And she was a very mischievous goddess. And she was very old and she was very young at the same time. Well, they stood outside waiting for the moment. And inside, the goddess Amaterasu just could not stand it any more. So she thought, well, I'm just going to take a teeny peek and nobody's going to notice. So she went up to the huge stone rock that was as big as a mountain. And she just slid it aside just a teeny bit to take a peek. And in that moment, the goddess outside of poetry and dance, who was also very old and very young, lifted up her skirts and flashed herself. And she was so full of light. Her yoni was so full of light that it was like a big bright mirror shining all of the magnificence of the sun goddess right back at her. With this bright, beautiful light, she said, "What is this beautiful being?" And she opened the door even further, and now the great, powerful god could get his fingers in, and he ripped the door open and flung it across. And it is now a mountain in Japan, that stone door, called Togakshiyama, the Hidden Door Mountain. And so the goddess of the sun came out, and she saw how much the people missed her and loved her. And so she stays with us to this day, shining every day, but at night. She now has the time to rest, so that she can shine again. So she no longer works 24 hours a day. Thank goodness. We all need some rest, don't we? So, I hope you enjoyed that story of Amaterasu, Oomikami, the great sun goddess of Japan, who was the queen and the matriarchy, the matron, the mother of all the gods and goddesses. So when you see the sun today, don't look directly at her. It's too bright. But just feel her on your skin, on your hair, and look at all the plants and the flowers growing around you. And they all need her loving touch, just as we do, to feel alive in this most beautiful, beautiful world. That's it for today. Thank you, my children. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.